to President Trump, who wants to take much more of a hard line. The relationship also strained because of issues of trade. And so you've...
Hold on just a moment, Elise. Let's listen in.
We've had a few discussions over the last number of months, and I actually think we're making a lot of headway in a lot of different ways. We are on a very friendly basis working on trade and working on trade agreements, and we'll see how that all comes out. But much more importantly, frankly, than trade is the other aspect of our relationship that we're working with, and that has to do with North Korea. So we are meeting on a constant basis. We'll be meeting in a little while also with Prime Minister Abe of Japan, and that will be a tri-meeting. So we will see. But I think we're making a lot of progress in a lot of different ways. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Would you like to say something? Yes.
문 대통령이 오늘 함께하게 돼서 매우 영광으로 생각합니다. 아시다시피 문 대통령과 나는 지난 몇 달 동안에 여러 번 만나서 토의를 한 바 있습니다. 그리고 여러 가지 문제에 있어서 많은 진전이 있었다고 생각합니다. 우리는 또한 그 무역과 관련해서도 아주 친숙하게 지금 대화를 나누고 있습니다. 솔직히 내 생각에는 무역보다는 우리가 더 다른 부분에 있어서 중요한 부분에 있어서 많이 그 토의를 해야 된다고 생각하고, 물론 그 문제는 북한의 문제이기도 합니다. 오늘 그 우리가 만나서 많은 대화를 나눌 것이고, 또 아베 수상과도 3자 회의를 곧 가질 예정입니다. 하지만 여러 가지 문제에 있어서 많은 진전이 있었다고 생각합니다. 그리고 또 앞으로 많은 진전을 기대해 주시기 바랍니다.
대통령과 여러 번 이렇게 뵙고 또 통화를 나누어서 갈수록 아주 친근하게 느껴집니다. 이번에 그 북한의 도발이 대단히 개탄스럽고 또 우리를 격분시켰는데, 그에 대해서 미국이 아주 단호하게 그렇게 대응을 잘해 주셨고, 또 한미 간의 공조도 빈틈없이 이루어지고 있어서 아주 만족스럽게 생각합니다. 이번에 대통령께서 유엔 총회에서도 대단히 강력한 연설을 해 주셨는데, 저는 그런 그 강력함이 북한을 반드시 변화시킬 것이라고 그렇게 확신합니다. 감사드립니다.
As, Mr. President, I've met you several times, and I've also had many telephone conversations with you. And because of this, I'm becoming more and more familiar and with you. Over the years, North Korea has continued to make provocations, and this is extremely deplorable. And this has angered both me and our people. But the United States has responded firmly and in a very good way. And because of this, I also believe that we have very close coordination between Korea and the United States. And because of this, I am very satisfied. Mr. President, in the UN General Assembly, you made a very strong speech. And I believe that the strength of your speech will also help to change North Korea. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm very happy that you used the word deplorable. I was very interested in that word. I didn't tell them, I promise I did not tell them to use that word.
대단히 감사합니다. 특히 대통령께서 그 배탄한다라는 그 단어를 사용하신 데 대해서 굉장히 기쁘게 생각합니다. 그리고 절대로 내가 문 대통령께 그 단어를 사용해달라고 요청하지 않았습니다.
That's been a very lucky word for me and many millions of people.
많은 사람들에게 이것은 굉장히 행운의 단어이기도 했습니다.
So because of the fact that our trade deal is so bad for the United States and so good for South Korea, said we'll focus on the military, but actually we're going to try and straighten out the trade deal, make it fair for everybody. But our real focus will be on the military and our relationship with South Korea, which is excellent, which is really excellent. So we're going to start that process right now. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
So we were just listening in. Those were live remarks with the president of South Korea meeting alongside the president of the United States, Donald Trump, of course, on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly. We heard him talk both about trade as well as the military situation and the ballistic missiles and nuclear development that's happening in North Korea. One of the key topics, of course, of conversation as they now move from this little spray that they were doing, a pool spray as they call it, and they'll be moving into a working lunch with not just the president of the U.S. and the president of South Korea, but also the leader of Japan, who is another important ally in that region. I want to bring back our Jeff Zeleny and Elise Lada. And Elise, when you listened in, I know the word trade stood out to you.
That's right, because as we went into the press conference, we're talking about the fact that this relationship is strained, not just because of their differing approaches on North Korea, but because President Trump came into office saying he was going to write these bad trade deals that he thought were bad for the American people. And he said it right next to the South Korean president. This trade deal is so bad for America, we're going to make it fair.
And he said, and it's so good for South Korea.
Exactly.
I mean, really,
and, look, this is a very transactional president. He wants to get something for what he's doing on North Korea. And so I think what he's trying to do is, bring all of these issues together. His relationship on South Korea and North Korea he's saying it's going to be much better if South Korea plays ball on the trade deal. And I think that's very interesting. This relationship with this new South Korean leader who is coming in with a much more conciliatory approach towards North Korea is far different than the relationship that President Trump has with President Abe of Japan. Very cozy together. He was one of the first leaders that he met with after his election, and when he came into office, they played golf together.
Why do you think they're so cozy and not so much in this
I think
other
a lot of it
relationship?
is because President Abe is a very charming man. He knows how to kind of play to what President Trump likes. He's very praising of him. He also plays golf, so they've bonded on that. And I think that, Japan also is looking to take a much more hard line on North Korea. So he's been playing to what President Trump is looking for. And I think these two men have formed, Japanese officials have told me that they feel very good about the relationship these two leaders have had. And it also is they're very much in line with this more hardline approach towards North Korea.
And Jeff, let me ask you about the other thing that actually drew some laughter in the room.
Right.
And the president thanked South Korea's president for using the word deplorables. I mean, that goes all the way back to the campaign.
It certainly does, Anna, and that certainly drew our attention as well here. Of course, the word deplorables first came up in a fundraiser that in the campaign last fall that Hillary Clinton had right here in New York City. She talked about the deplorables, talking about Donald Trump supporters there. So you heard President Trump sort of laughing about that, and he said, look, I did not ask him to say that word, but he said that word has been a very lucky word for me. Indeed, that became a bit of an anthem for Trump supporters across the country at rallies. They would say, I am deplorable. So that was one of the low moments of the Clinton campaign. It seems like a long time ago, of course, because now we're into the governing phase here, but it was about a year or so ago right here in New York where Hillary Clinton said deplorables. President Trump seized on it, and he seemed happy to be hearing about it again this morning on it.
Right, when Clinton talked about the basket of deplorables. Jeff Zeleny and Elise Labott, thank you both. We have more.